It is amazing. Well, let's talk some fishing. Let's see, you didn't have a tournament this week.
Nope, we
but
didn't.
You got one coming up here in a couple weeks.
We got one coming up. I did send some pictures in, but I don't know if you guys had time to see them.
Okay. Let's see. Let me set the monitor here.
Okay.
And
there they are.
There's a picture.
All right, so what I did is I sent some pictures in over the last couple of months. Some of our members have been going down to Brantley. And I thought, well, we haven't had any pictures in a while, so I thought I'd share some. So that's Curtis Pennington. That's one he caught down at Brantley Lake recently. One of our club members, Curtis. And then the next one. And that is Lee Johnson.
I like how that picture is shot. That makes it look like that's a big fish.
It was a good fish. I think that was a 5-pounder plus, maybe. I can't remember. I should have looked at his comments to me. But he caught both Curtis and Lee. Sent me some pictures, April, I think, both of them. Mm-hmm. And Lee's might have been even in March, but they were going down and fishing, and they both, on the two pictures we're going to see of Lee and the two pictures of Curtis, they were down there on one. They were not together, but they just said they really caught them. And I think Lee, if I remember right, and Lee will correct me but if I'm wrong, but I think that bass and then his best other four was close to if he had been in a tournament, was close to 20-pound bag, and that's a great bag on any lake, much less Brantley. I mean, for Brantley to have that kind of production is great. You know, our lakes in New Mexico are so low. You know, Brantley is not down as low as some of them, but it's pretty low. I mean, it's not just a river, but there's not much water. Right. But the bass were definitely biting, and Lee caught that one, and I think maybe a 5-pounder. I don't remember exactly, but it was a nice fish. All right. And go ahead. And then that's another one he caught, different fish. I think that was the same day, and that was a couple of his fish that he caught that particular day that would have been close to or better than 20-pound bag. Wow. And then the next one is Curtis again, and I think that was a 5+ pounder. I can't remember again, but you can see it's a nice fish. And he was down on Brantley, caught that one, and that was in April, I think. Okay. And then that's my youngest brother, Ty, and I think that was close to a 5-pounder, and that might have been last week even, more recent. He and a buddy of his went down there. Ty tries to go. On his day off, he tries to go down there, take his boat, and go get on the water. But I think that might have been his buddy's boat, actually, that they were fishing out of. But in any case, that was a nice bass, close to a 5-pounder probably. And then the next one is Kelly. I think it's, well, I can't remember his last name. So I haven't met Kelly yet, but he's a friend of Ty's, and he caught some nice bass as well, and that's one of them that he caught. So I just wanted to share some pictures down at Brantley, let everybody, see some of the fish being caught down there. Our next tournament for the Pecos Valley Bassmasters is coming up here in May. We talked about it last week. We're fishing. We're actually going to fish in conjunction with New Mexico Bass Nation at Ute Lake on May 22nd and 23rd, so a couple weekends from now. And fishing in conjunction just means that, any of our anglers will have the opportunity, if they choose to fish, to enter so we'll all be there at the same time. Okay. But if they don't want to enter it, they can just fish our club tournament. And so... Now, do you use the same catch for both tournaments? Okay, right. So you weigh them in for theirs, and then you can also... And we don't have to weigh them in for ours. We'll probably all even use the New Mexico Bass Nation scales instead of me getting out our scales. We'll just all go through, even if they're not fishing the tournament with New Mexico Bass Nation. And we'll weigh in the fish, and I'm fishing both tournaments, so my catch will count. That weight will be for both tournaments. Okay. Yeah. And so pre-fish day, we have one pre-fish day. It's off limits from this coming Sunday night at midnight. So I guess theoretically you could fish this week. Well, I know you can. You can fish this week and go pre-fish, but from Sunday night till Friday morning daylight, it's off limits to all the anglers. So you can't get out there and be catching them and marking your spots during that week. But then on Friday, the 21st, it is open to fish and can fish till 5 o'clock. And then we have a meeting that evening, Friday evening. We're doing some things this year as officers of New Mexico Bass Nation. We're trying to go kind of digital instead of having a lot of paper. So, I sent out invoices that they can pay online, and that way they don't have to bring money or cash or checks or something like that. And then also all of our paperwork, they have to have an entry form. They've got to have a waiver of liability. They got to have, if they're a boater, they have to have proof of insurance. And so we're asking them, which is kind of new this year, to send everything in via email and or pay their invoice online. And that really helps us as officers because number one, we know who's entered before we get there Friday night. We're not having to scramble. We can go ahead and get the weighing sheets all done and have everything ready to go instead of trying to do it there at a motel on Friday night. We can just relax and get our fishing stuff ready. And also, we don't have all that paper to try to hold on to there at the tournament, and we don't have any cash. I'm always concerned about cash somehow getting lost or or mixing it with some other cash and forgetting it was, so from those perspectives, it's really nice to go digital, and that's what we're asking all of our nation members to do. And for the most part, they're all good with that, it seems like. I mean, I say for the most part. We've had a few say, well, I don't use that, and I explained to them, well, you don't have to because we're using PayPal to send out the invoices, and so there's a little confusion there, but generally speaking, it's going very smooth, and I appreciate all the members, both of our club, because we started doing it with our club about 3 years ago, and it's made things, in my opinion, much smoother, cleaner process, and we can all know who's going to be fishing the tournament, a couple days before the tournament, because we have a deadline, and we're doing the same thing with New Mexico Bass Nation. So although we are allowing late entries, and I'll say that for anybody that might be watching or listening, if they can't get paid or maybe they don't know for sure if they can be off work, and so they can't get it in by the deadline for early, I guess we'll call it early entry, then that Friday night they can show up and pay and bring their paperwork. So they got to pay a late fee, but it's a $20 late fee per tournament. We have two one-day tournaments for New Mexico Bass Nation. Saturday's a tournament and Sunday's a separate tournament, both of which are qualifiers. We'll have 2 more later this year for New Mexico Bass Nation, and then if you fish all 4 tournaments, you have a drop. You can drop your lowest one, and then the top 10 boaters and top 10 non-boaters will qualify. Out of those 4 tournaments, will qualify for next year's team, and so that's what we're doing. That's our first 2 tournaments of the year for New Mexico Bass Nation.
And then this is the first one that's going to be in New Mexico.
It's the first one that's going to be in New Mexico this year for us.
Last year.
Yeah, we fished actually since 2019.
Yeah, because the COVID hit around
March.
Yeah.
And we hadn't, for Pecos Valley, our first New Mexico lake, I think, was scheduled in April last year. And so it might have even been scheduled in March. But we canceled. You couldn't get permits, but now they are doing permits. And so it'll be the first one for Pecos Valley Bassmasters, and it'll also be the first one for New Mexico Bass Nation since 2019 on a New Mexico lake.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's starting to open up just a little bit. And with you showing the pictures, it's like you said earlier, it's not that you can't go fishing in New Mexico. Right. For a while there, you had to be from New Mexico to go fishing on a state park.
Most of our lakes are state parks, all of them, I think, that we fish. Yeah.
Right. So, but if you wanted to have a tournament, you had to go to Texas or some other place
because we couldn't get the permit, and so, but now they are issuing permits.
Yeah.
But now the issue we face, like Elephant Butte, I read this weekend, is at 3% capacity.
Wow.
So basically, it's the river.
Yeah.
The Rio Grande River, because 3%, so 97% empty.
That's just amazing.
That's amazing.
And it's been that way for a while.
It's gone down, though, even since last year. It was low the last several years, but it's now down to 3%. Conscious Lake is at what they call 4 foot from dead pool, which I didn't know what that meant, but as I talked to the folks at Conscious Lake a couple weeks ago, he told me that the park ranger, the lead park ranger there, said, well, we're at 4 foot from dead pool. All of the state park boat ramps are out of the water, and they're really long. I mean, they're long, to get down, so it can go low, but they're below that. And 4 foot from dead pool means that it's at the capacity is at 4 more feet drop, and then they wouldn't release any more water because that's a irrigation lake.
Okay.
They send water downstream, but it's really low.
Wow.
And I saw a video. Somebody was standing on one of the state park ramps, and they were videoing looking up the ramp, They were down on it. And I thought, based on their video, it was a long ways. And I thought, so they're standing right at the edge, just looking at the video. They were saying, it's really low. And they were talking. And they had their camera pointed up the ramp. And then they turned around and pointed down there. There was another 50 feet
before
ramp.
the water.
And then the water was down below that by 10 foot. So those ramps are way longer than I didn't realize. Normally they're underwater, and you don't know how long the concrete goes, but they go a long way.
Wow.
And they're out of water. There is the Army Corps of Engineers has a ramp on the south side of the lake, and it is in the water. So Conchas could be fished, but it is really low.
Really low.
Yeah.
Before we finish, I am told that I am to wish you a happy birthday.
Oh, well, you asked that in a question form. You can wish it is my birthday.
Today. Today is Joby's birthday. So I'm not going to sing.
No, don't sing.
No, because I'll get flagged by Facebook or whatever. Bad singing, your band.
Oh, no.
But, well, happy birthday to you, and hope you have a night. Have a scone.
All right, I'll take a scone with my coffee.
All right, Joby. Thank you.